Hello and welcome to our Sanako little snippet about how we can improve teaching and learning today through technology. Hopefully you can see this graph on my screen, which is from the Education Endowment Foundation and the Sutton Trust, where they took hundreds and hundreds of different pieces of evidence to look at what can be the most useful in terms of the increase in effect size to help students make really good progress. And there's only 4 items that were found that are above the red line that are actually promising. There are some others that may be worth it, but perhaps there's not yet enough evidence. And there are a few which are definitely not worth it. Let's have a look at feedback, which is one of the most promising items. Now, you might say, well, that's not going to cost anything. It's free for teachers to be able to provide. Surely it's just about teachers marking lots and lots and giving students more feedback in their books. I do think it's true that feedback, which needs to be individual, it needs to be focused on the right aspects that are going to help a pupil make progress, is really important. I do think we need to think about ways to reduce teacher workload, though, because feedback isn't cheap. It does cost teacher time. It may not cost specific money. So how can we give feedback in a languages classroom? Well, the written side of feedback is something that we do a lot and is well known. But how can we give feedback to students on the quality of their speaking? Yes, of course, we could go round and listen to every single student speak, and then we could give them some oral feedback and tell them, well, you mispronounced this, or that was particularly good. It may well easily get forgotten as well. So what tools are out there to help us to give students feedback that they can reflect on, think about, but also keep and revisit in the future? Well, first of all, the SanakoUK software has a pronounce feature, which gives immediate feedback to students on their pronunciation. So mispronounced words are highlighted when the student speaks into it. And of course, the student can listen to a correct model first before doing their own piece of pronunciation. And they get immediate feedback using a 0 to 5-star rating. And they can immediately go and re-record and practice again until they get a better version. And when they submit their work to the teacher can listen to their final version and see how it was rated by the computer. So the teacher doesn't even in this case need to spend any time giving immediate feedback on pronunciation. However, there is another feature in Sanako Connect where students can, for example, record talks, presentations. They can answer questions as part of a role play or a conversation. And the teacher can give them some written feedback in a general box, or even click on this red record button and give the student some verbal feedback, which is saved. So it's brilliant that the student can go back and maybe the next time they come to do a role play activity can check the previous feedback to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes as well. Again, because what's so important about feedback is what the student does with it. It's not just a question of the teacher spending time creating the feedback and giving it. It needs to be acted upon. And so if you can save feedback that's been given on a speaking activity, either written or oral, then students can go back and revisit that before they do another one. And finally, and even better, with a role play scenario or a conversation, the teacher could actually go into each utterance, which is the pink recording. The blue is the teacher question. The pink recording is the student's response to it. And the teacher can add a comment either in writing or click again on the little red button and record some individual feedback for each utterance. So we've got 3 ways with Sanako Connect to provide bespoke feedback to students, using the pronounce tool, which does it automatically, but the teacher can see what's happened, using some general feedback about a whole exercise, or some individual feedback based on an utterance. So feedback is a gift. It's one of the most effective ways to help students make progress. So we need to think about how technology can support students to help make progress with really good feedback. Thanks for listening today.